Hello to everyone, and how are you today? We've come to our science time to laugh and learn and play. And when you're up, you're up. And when you're down, you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. So roll your hands as slow as they'll go. And roll your hands so fast. Give your hands a clap, 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 and lay them in your lap, lap, lap. Hi everyone. Let's check out the science bag today. It's right here. I wonder what's inside. Are you curious? Should we investigate? How do scientists investigate when they want to learn more about something? They use all their senses? Yeah, they use their eyes to see, their ears to hear, they'll use their nose to smell, and their mouth to taste, and then you'll use your fingers to touch. And then we'll learn so much. Should we do it? Should we use all of our senses and investigate the science bag today so we can learn so much? Let's do it. All right, use your eyes. You can tell that whatever's in the bag is this big today. Also, you can use your ears and listen. I'll shake it. We'll see if it makes a sound. Are you ready? Listen close. Oh, did you hear that? What does that sound like to you? There's lots of things in here that are rattling against each other. Kind of sounds like blocks or something hard like that, rattling together. I'm going to use my fingers and touch, and I'll tell you if it is hard when I touch it. Oh, that's surprising. It's hard, but it's also really cold. I can feel something very cold in there on my hands. Oh, and you know what else I'm noticing as I'm touching it with my warm hands? My hands are getting wet. Something is coming through the science bag that is wet. So it's cold and it's wet and it's hard. And it rattles when I shake it. What do you think's in there? Should we pull it out? Are you ready to make a guess? What's your prediction? What am I going to pull out of the bag? It's cold on my lap. Are you ready? Oh, it's very slippery. I'm going to have to pour it out on the tray. You ready? Here we go. Did you make a prediction? Your best guess? All right, here it goes. Oh my goodness! What is it? No wonder it was cold and slippery and hard and melting when I touch it. It's a whole tray of ice. Huh. Do you know how to make ice? Have you ever made ice? If you take an ice tray and you fill it with water and you put it in your freezer where it's really cold, what will happen to the water? It'll turn to ice. And then if you take the ice tray out of the freezer and you set it somewhere warm, like next to a fireplace or just in your warm room, what will happen to the ice? It will turn back to water. So it will turn from solid, hard ice to liquid water. And then if you put that in the freezer, it'll go back again. It can go from hard ice to liquid water to hard ice, back and forth depending on the temperature. That's so cool. You could go outside and try and find ice where there used to be water if it's a really cold day. Or if it's a warmer day, you could try and find water where there used to be ice. You could go on an ice scavenger hunt. Let's go on an ice scavenger hunt together today. We'll use our story. We'll use our research book, Stella, Queen of the Snow. Let's go on an adventure together and see if we can find places in the book where water has turned to ice. Because if I look at this picture on the front, it looks like it's a very cold day where Stella is. She's dressed for a cold day. She has on her boots and her coat and her mittens and her scarf and her... Uh-oh, she's missing her hat. I think her head's going to get cold if it's a cold day. All right, let's go on an adventure together. We're trying to find places where water has turned to ice. It starts like this. Sam had never seen snow. This was his very first snowstorm. Do you remember your first snowstorm? Let's see what happens. Isn't it beautiful, Sam? Asked Stella. It is very white, said Sam, and it makes me sort of dizzy. Come on, Sam, said Stella. Let's go outside. Is the snow cold? Asked Sam. Is it hard and icy? Snow is as cold as vanilla ice cream, answered Stella, and as soft as baby rabbit fur. Look at the picture. Can you see some places where water has dripped and frozen and made icicles? Yeah, there's some ice. Can you eat a snowflake? Asked Sam. Polar bears do, said Stella. They eat snowflakes for breakfast. With milk? Asked Sam. Yes, said Stella. And sugar. Let's make a snowman, Sam, said Stella. Where does a snowman sleep? Asked Sam. In a soft, fluffy snowbank, answered Stella. What does a snowman eat? Asked Sam. Snowballs, sang Stella, snow peas, and snowsuits. Do snowmen eat green snowsuits? Asked Sam. No, said Stella. They only eat pink ones. Are you sure? Asked Sam. Let's go skating on the pond, said Stella. Where's the water? Asked Sam. The water is frozen, said Stella, like a giant silver popsicle. Are the frogs frozen too? Asked Sam. No, said Stella. They're sleeping under the ice. Come on, Sam, said Stella. Put on your skates. Not right now, said Sam. I'm listening to the frogs snore. Hey, said Sam, why is fog coming out of my mouth? When it's cold, said Stella, your words freeze. Every word has a different fog shape. See? I can't read yet, said Sam. Then let's build a fort, said Stella. Where does snow come from? Asked Sam. Where does snow go in the summer? How many snowflakes are there in a snowball? I don't know, Sam, sighed Stella. Come and help me. Just a minute, said Sam. I'm counting the snowflakes. Let's climb this mountain, said Stella. Why? Said Sam. What for? Then we'll slide down, said Stella. Will we go very fast? Asked Sam. Faster than a bird, sang Stella. Faster than an airplane. Will we be able to stop? Asked Sam. Stop, said Stella. Who wants to stop? Hop on. I think I'll walk, said Sam. Do dogs get cold? Asked Sam. No, said Stella. Dogs wear fur coats. Do birds get goosebumps? Asked Sam. No, said Stella. Birds wear snow boots. Like mine? Asked Sam. Yes, only much, much smaller. Let's make snow angels, said Stella, with wide feathery wings. Do snow angels fly? Asked Sam. Do snow angels sing? Of course, said Stella. Can't you hear them? Yes, whispered Sam. The end. Sam had lots of questions. He's a good scientist. Scientists ask lots of questions too. We found lots of places where water had turned to ice, like the icicles and the water on the pond that turned to ice so that Stella and Sam could go ice skating. Stella said that words freeze when you talk in the wintertime. Do you think that's true? Yeah. So lots of places on our adventure today where water turned to ice. And if it gets warm outside, all of those icicles and the pond and the words will all come unfrozen and turn to water. So warm weather makes ice melt. I wonder if there's other things that make ice melt. Could we do an experiment together today and test some things to see if they will make ice melt? Let's try it. Okay, scientists, let's do an experiment. I have 3 cups of ice. Each cup has 8 ice cubes in it. And I have a beaker of sand. I wonder if that will help ice melt. I have a beaker of sugar sprinkles, pink sugar sprinkles. I wonder if that would help ice melt faster. And I have a beaker of salt. I wonder if that would help ice melt faster. So I'm going to sprinkle some sand in this cup, some sugar in this cup, and some salt in this cup. I'm going to let it sit for a while, and then I'm going to come back and see which cup of ice has melted the most. How do you think I'll know which one has melted the most? Could we measure the water that melts in the cup? Yeah, we could do that. See which one has the most water in it, which cup. All right, we'll start by sprinkling some sand in this cup. We'll sprinkle the sugar sprinkles over the ice in this cup, and then we'll sprinkle the salt over the ice in this cup. Okay, now we'll let it sit. Do you have a prediction when we come back which cup will have the most water, the most melted ice in it? Will it be the sand, the sugar cup, or the salt? Make a prediction. We'll find out what happens. Okay, these have been sitting for about an hour. Let's use our eyes and observe closely and see if we can tell which one made the ice melt the most. Was it the sand? Was it the sugar sprinkles? Was it the salt? Do you remember what your prediction was? Let's take a look. All right, here's the 8 pieces of ice that I put sand on. Do you see the water at the bottom? There's a little bit there. It's melted. Here's the one that I sprinkled sugar, pink sugar sprinkles on. Oh, that's more water. Did the sugar work to melt the ice better than the sand? And here's the cup with the salt. Look at all that water. If we were to measure which one has the most water in it, which cup? Yeah, the one with the salt. The salt melted the ice faster than the others. I wonder why that is. Why do you think? That gave me an idea that salt melts ice. I made all these colored ice cubes. Aren't they fun? I filled an ice cube tray with water and then dropped in some food coloring, yellow and blue and green and red. And I want to build a colorful igloo. But my ice cubes kept slipping off of each other. I couldn't stack them very well to make my igloo. And so I was thinking that if I sprinkle a little bit of salt on the surface of the ice cubes, could I stack them? Could I make buildings out of them? Could I make an igloo? I'm going to give it a try. You could melt, or you could freeze some ice cubes too. Make them different colors if you want to by adding food coloring. And then see if you use some salt. Salt just melts the surface of the ice cube so that I can stick two together. And then the coldness of the other ice cube freezes it again for a little while. Then maybe I can make some buildings out of colored ice cubes. I think I'm going to have to let it melt a little bit more. We'll have to give it a little time. And once I make an igloo, I think I want to put a little electric candle inside and make an igloo lantern. That would look so pretty coming through the colors, especially if I put it outside on my front porch maybe at night. A little igloo lantern made of ice cubes, colored ice cubes. I want to show you one other thing I did. This was really fun. This is a lantern too. How do you think I made this lantern? Do you recognize this shape? It looks like a ball. How did I get my ice to freeze in this shape, or my water to freeze in this shape? I used a balloon. I put a couple of drops of food coloring into the balloon, and then I put it around the water faucet and filled it with water. And then to get it to freeze, I put it outside on a really cold night. And the next morning when I checked on it, I took the balloon off and I'm left with a ball of ice. I put red food coloring in this one. Oftentimes when you check it, there's a hole still in the middle. Water will flow out where the water hasn't frozen yet. And then you can put a candle inside in the middle and turn it on and make an ice lantern. It looks so pretty. Give it a try. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.